Marc Raimondi for ESPN here today with Belal Muhammad, who is coming off a huge win at UFC 288 on Saturday in Newark, New Jersey. Of course, Belal, you beat Gilbert Burns by unanimous decision. Pretty comprehensive victory. No robbery, no controversy with that decision. Uh, you told me before the fight last week in Newark that fight was almost like your title fight. That fight was kind of do or die for you. Now that you're about 40 hours, 48 hours or so from that fight, or actually a little bit more now. What are your thoughts? How do you feel about this?
Yeah, honestly, it's one of the biggest fights of my career. It was like I risked it all for that one fight. It was all on the line that one moment because like this was 5 years of work of building my streak to this point, getting there right on the door, knocking on the door, and to get a fight with 3 weeks notice, coming off Ramadan. I was like, we just got to go for it, man. No risk, no reward. For me to get a guaranteed title shot after that, I was like, I had to do it. And then coming out of there, I'm just blessed to be healthy, make it through the fight, get the W, get the big win, a dominant win, and God is good.
It's true because you really did roll the dice for this fight, right? Because you came in, 9-fight unbeaten streak, right? Now it's 10, and you've been building this streak since 2019. Took this on short notice. Gilbert Burns is one of the toughest guys in the division. He's coming off a win against Masvidal just a few weeks ago, and you really rolled the dice. You took a gamble, and people say like I'm gonna bet on myself a lot in this sport. You really did bet on yourself and to even take this fight, did you not?
Yeah, for sure. It was like one of those. It was like to me, Gilbert Burns is probably the one of the toughest guys in the top five. Definitely one of definitely the hardest hitter, I think, and the most submissions. So like he's, I think, probably the toughest matchup in that top five for me, I would say. And then for them to offer that fight on 3 weeks notice, I was like, I think I'm the best in the world. And I was saying it, and I kept saying it, and I was telling the world about it. And I was like, I got to be willing to step up at any moment. It was stuck in that limbo where they're like, well, maybe you'll fight in July, maybe you'll fight in August, and it could be this guy or that guy or that guy. And I was like, I'm done with the waiting game. I'm done just with the guessing what's gonna happen. I'm like, let me make my own path. They offered me the fight. I was like, I have to go for it because, like I said, I wasn't training for that fight in 2 weeks. I've been training for that fight for 10 years. That was my whole life, my whole career on the line in that one fight, and that's why I played my mentality with it. And you take the fight a couple weeks to train, and then you do a couple of training sessions, you feel good, then you get into the middle of it. This happens, that happens. You're like, man, did I make a mistake? Why did I do that? Why did I ask for 5 rounds? You start second guessing a lot of these things. But man, I got over a lot of hurdles with this one, and like I think my mental game now is on a whole nother level, and it's only going to make me that much stronger, that much better to get through what I got through to get here and to get through this fight. It's like destiny for me.
There was this buzz that kind of started late in fight week that maybe Bilal has an ankle issue. He was limping around a little bit. He was not. I just saw a lot of speculation on social media and even kind of between us and the media. Was there an ankle injury going into the fight? Because it didn't look like it by the actual performance.
Yeah, I mean, you go into fights all the time with injuries, and I was sitting there like, where the heck? Who's in my? I was looking at who's the rat in my camp. But like I said, when you rush things right away, like I'm trying to go balls to the wall in 2 weeks. Injuries happen, stuff happens, but I was like, once it gets to fight night, I had to push through it because I knew that once the adrenaline starts pumping, you're not gonna really get to feel anything anyway. And it was like for me to take a fight on 2 weeks notice and then try to pull out the week of, I was like, bro, that would make me the worst freaking look, give me the worst look ever. And I was like, there's no way I'm gonna let that happen. I was like, God makes this happen for a reason. God pushes everything for a reason, and it's like He tests the strongest soldiers. And I was like, we could get through this. We could get through anything, and thankfully we got through it.
So you did have an ankle injury. It's true.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. We were throwing a whole lot of kicks leading up to the fight, training for them, and then I'm a guy who likes to run a lot, and I was like, right away, I was like, I need to get these miles in right away, trying to force myself, and then we rolled our ankle. It was pretty bad for a couple of days, but then we just like focused on just staying away from cardio stuff like that, and just focus on straight up game planning stuff. We just had to make adjustments, and like I said, I feel like I had one of the best teams in the world, and the way we make adjustments is better than anybody else. Where we know we can fight, we know we'll have cardio with our heart, and if our heart and our mind get through it, it doesn't matter if our lungs couldn't get through it because we'll be able to will ourselves to anything. And that's all I had to keep telling myself.
Was it the left or right? And do you know like the severity of it now?
It was the left. I mean, I don't get it checked. I actually hit up the UFC. We're supposed to get it checked now, but before the fight, I'm not trying to get nothing checked. I'm not trying to even like look at it or think about it. It's like you want to go into a fight not thinking about the injury or trying to it. So it was like we were doing our therapy with ourselves, doing our things with it, and like I said, making the adjustments to train through it.
How like recently did it happen? How soon before the fight?
It was like the Sunday before we were working out.
Oh
Yeah.
wow.
Yeah. And then we get to it was we went to like a LA Fitness out there too, in Jersey, and like they didn't have like the best place for us to train at because we were trying to train somewhere near there. We had an Airbnb we were trying to train at, and the floor gets slippery in like the little basketball area we're at. And I was like, what the fudge are we doing right now? We gotta so then we started like taking the 30-minute drive to the hotel room and training in there and training in the workout mats and just making it through. But it's also like we wanted to stay away from like other fighters and other camps from watching us train and seeing how we work.
So it was like when you're already in Newark when it happens? When you rolled the
Uh,
ankle?
the second time, yeah. The first time in
Oh,
Richmond.
okay. And like the crazy thing is that you kicked an awful lot during this fight. I want to say like I've watched all of your UFC fights. That's probably the most that you've kicked in a fight, right?
Yeah, 100%. It was like I said, we're very good with strategizing, and we knew that Gilbert Burns has crazy power in his hands. So we wanted to keep him at kicking range, kicking distance the whole time. And I was like, bro, I got to just get through this 25 minutes. I don't care what the fudge my ankle looks like afterward. If we have to do something, we'll do something afterward. But like in this 25 minutes, it's full force, no matter what. Don't think about anything. Let everything go. All pain, everything out the window.
Did you know that? I mean, it seemed like maybe midway through the fight, his left arm was compromised. There was some kind of injury. Were you aware of that?
I was seeing him shake it out. And that was the thing that I always put in my because I write notes too, and I was like, he's not a guy that breaks. Like there's guys that in the division, like I think like a Leon Edwards, he's breakable. His mentality is breakable. We saw it in the Usman fight. Gilbert Burns, he's not breakable. So like even with that injury, I knew that all right, he's just gonna throw that right hand hard. So when I saw him like shaking out the left, I was like, oh, something's wrong. So then I'll try to turn it up a little bit. Then he'll throw a big bomb at me with his right hand. I was like, oh, he's still there. He's still there. And I'll see him back it up to the fence a little bit. And that's when, you know, he's most dangerous because you think that you have him on the ropes. And then all of a sudden he throws a big bomb and catches you. And that's where he caught Hamzat a couple times with. So I just had to be very smart with what I was doing, my approach, and knowing that like he may be hurt, but he's still there.
When did you decide and why that you were just gonna rip on Jersey the entire week?
Bro, because I'm sitting here like I took this fight on 3 weeks' notice, got out the couch because I'm like, one big reason was I wanted to do it for the fans. I wanted to get that, you know, that obviously you always want the fans to like you and oh man, he stepped up anywhere, anytime, any place, what a man. And then like appreciation. And I was like, bro, I did this, I cut all this weight for you guys, and you guys are booing me right now. Like, what the heck? Like I'm here trying to put on a show for you guys. Came all the way here and I'm risking it all because you guys pay for these tickets and I want to make you guys happy. But I was like, you know what? I try to do, for me, I was like, let me just embrace it because I was like, let them boo me. I don't want to feel bad about it. I'm not going to sit there beg you to like me or love me. I was like, all right, well, I'm one of those guys too. I like to talk trash. I love locker room talks. I was like, all right, I'll play fiddle with you guys.
One thing that I think people also forgot was that you were in Ramadan like right before you took this fight, so you weren't really like in fight shape. You were fasting. How much did that affect you? And you told me that you heard Movsar Evloev talk about being in Ramadan. Did that mess with you at all?
Oh man, I was in the back room watching the Outlaw fight, and afterward he got on the mic and he's like, "Yeah, we were Ramadan. I didn't feel that great," and I was like, "Dang, am I gonna feel like that in the fight?" And because you're always overthinking stuff, you're always overthinking, especially watching other fights, and then you see that fighter talk about Ramadan and how it affected him, and I was like, "Dang, am I gonna get tired? Why did I ask for 5 rounds? I should have said 3 rounds. 3 rounds would have been good." And thankfully, like I said, I think Ramadan makes my mind the strongest it's ever felt. And like, if my mind will push my body through anything, and I know that, so I was like, whatever, man, we're here, let's do it. all we can do now is go out there and fight, and whatever happens, happens. So that mindset just got me through it. And, I felt good in there, honestly, for 25 minutes. I felt smooth. I felt energetic, and I still could have gone for a couple more rounds. But yeah, it tells me that how much better I could be. If that was 3 weeks, imagine me in 8 weeks. And it just tells me also that I usually overtrain in my 8 week camps, and like where I don't have to overthink a lot of stuff a lot of the time too, where I'll be like, oh, I need to do this, this, and this, this. And I was like, if I could feel this good in 3 weeks and I didn't have to do all that extra work, maybe my next fight, I'll make a couple adjustments.
How you kind of got a little hot with me during fight week when I asked you about the weight and the weight cut. How hard did it end up being if it was hard?
Honestly, it was probably the hardest weight cut I ever had. I was still working with Chef Larry. Shout out to him, man. We went through some stuff during that cut. That, like I said, it's you still have yourself second guessing, and it was literally the hardest cut we ever had. And my team and stuff, and we're so used to having smooth, easy cuts, but it wasn't easy. It wasn't smooth. But it's like one of those that stays in the room.
So I can't ask you how much you weighed when you accepted the fight.
Uh, and then when I accepted the fight, I was 30 pounds.
It was 30 pounds off.
Yeah, I was 200.
Okay, fair enough. All right,
Yeah.
so the UFC has said, Dana White said it on Saturday, you're the next guy after Colby for the title shot. You're gonna get the Edwards versus Covington winner. Uh, when do you think that could happen? I know there's talk of that fight maybe happening as early as this summer. Could it be late this year? Could it be early 24? What are your thoughts?
Man, honestly, I hope they do it as soon as possible to get it over with, so I know who I'm fighting next. Leon had his fight. He just fought, so I'm hoping that he wants to go again in the summer, or I'm hoping that since he does want to fight in October, Dana White will just let me fight him in October. It makes the most sense in the world. I hope he just has like something that hits him in his head, like, man, wait, why the heck am I giving this dork a title shot? He didn't do absolutely nothing. He's been out for 2 years. The last win is against number 12 in the world. This guy's on a 10 fight winning streak, 5 top 10 fighters on his resume. Abu Dhabi, it would be the biggest show that I think you could have in Abu Dhabi is have me fight there for the belt. It would be amazing. So we'll see. Hopefully that happens, but Dana White seems like he's planned it on this Kobe fight, so hopefully they get that one done summer. If it does happen September, October, I'm cool with waiting. Definitely, I think like you guys see that I'm getting better. I'm growing every single fight, and all that time is going to do is just make it worse for these guys. I'm just going to be a way better version of myself every single month that passes by. So if I'm them, I'm like, yo, let's fight next month. Let's get it over with so we can fight the least best version of Belal. But we keep waiting it off. He's only going to keep getting better and better. It's going to be worse for us.
When you sat down with Dana White and Hunter Campbell not too long ago, right? I think it was after Miami, I want to say, right? Or it was at least in that time period where Colby was the backup fighter for the Edwards versus Usman rematch, and you wanted to know, hey, why wasn't I, the guy? What was that conversation like?
It was cool. It was cool to talk with Dana, talk with Hunter, and see where they see me and what they see and what else I need to do. And for Dana and them, it was like, we're just waiting for that one fight where you could be undeniable, where there can't be nothing else. And that was one of the biggest reasons for me taking this fight. It's like, I'm taking a fight against number 5 in the world on a 3-week notice fight. That makes me undeniable. And obviously, taking a fight like that, you want to do it for the fans, you want to do it for yourself, but also you want it to show the bosses that, hey, I'm that guy to step up for you guys anytime you need somebody to step up. I'm that guy that could be your guy. And if I'm the champion, I'm not going to sit out and go on my victory parades. Like, I'm going to be fighting. I'm going to be active. So that's the type of guys you guys want. So I'm hoping that doing this, coming out there, doing that for this fight, shows them that, like, I'm not all talk. Like, when I say something, I'm going to do it.
And just lastly, congrats again, of course, and of course, thanks for the time. Do you feel confident that it will be you next and that you won't have to fight again? Because you know how sometimes this is a crazy sport. Something happens in the fight. You never know how it goes. But are you confident that you're going to be the next guy for Edward, the Edward versus Covington winner? No more fights. You're gonna wait for that.
Yeah, for sure. I think the fact that Dana reiterated it at the post-fight press conference, he said it. It's in the books, and I just trusted. I believe in. Like I said, I think that me taking this fight was huge, and cementing myself and cementing my legend. And it's like now I'm looking past being a world champion. I'm like trying to be like, I'm starting to get into that status of, yo, could this be one of the best welterweights to ever do it? Because if you're looking at my resume, the guys I fought, the top 10 guys I have, the wins I have, once I get that belt around my waist, it's like I already gone through everybody already. And they were talking about Usman his last, being one of the GOATs. It's like I'm going to be going through everybody he's gone through by the time before I even get to the belt.
Yeah, and I hope now after Saturday people will start to give you the credit, the credit that you're due, because you've done it 10 straight unbeaten in the welterweight division. I mean, that's a difficult thing to pull off, and you've done it, and now deservedly so. You'll be next in line for the title shot. Belal, thanks again so much. Appreciate it. Talk to you soon, and yeah, congrats again.
Thanks, brother. Appreciate you, man.
Thanks for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN Plus.